There are moments in life when everything feels louder, the hospital monitors, the silence in the room, the weight of what's not being said. But when it comes to the final season of someone's life, it's not always dramatic. In fact, it's often quiet. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss the most important signs of all. This isn't about fear. This is about being there fully before it's too late. Because the truth is, most people don't know they're in someone's final chapter until they've already turned the last page. Today, we're talking about 7 quiet signs that someone may be nearing the end of life. Signs that are easy to miss, but impossible to ignore once you've seen them. Whether you're a caregiver, a loved one, or someone quietly facing these changes yourself, I hope this video offers peace, understanding, and maybe even a little comfort. And if this message speaks to you, if you've ever walked beside someone during their final days, or you're simply trying to understand it all a little better, consider subscribing to the channel. This space was created for people like you, those who care, who reflect, who want to show up better for the ones they love. And if you know someone who could use this kind of gentle reminder, someone navigating grief or caregiving in silence, please share this video with them, because sometimes the quietest truths are the ones that help us the most. Now, let's begin. Sign number 1, the sudden desire to let go of things. It starts subtly. Maybe they stop wearing their favorite sweater, or they give away the watch they've worn for decades without much explanation. You might hear them say things like, "I don't need all this stuff anymore." It's not sadness. It's not forgetfulness. It's something deeper. As the end draws closer, many people feel an instinctive need to release, to unburden, to simplify, to leave less behind for others to carry. It's not about minimalism, it's about meaning. They want to leave behind only what matters. Sometimes they'll pass on family heirlooms or share personal items with heartfelt stories attached. Other times, they'll quietly begin donating clothes or clearing drawers no one else would touch. This is their way of organizing their exit, not just practically, but emotionally. It's how they begin saying goodbye without needing to say the words. And if you notice this, don't panic, just listen. Let them share what those items meant. Ask about the stories behind the objects, because what they're really passing on isn't the item, it's the connection. Sign number 2, a shift toward isolation. Not out of sadness, but stillness. There comes a moment, and it's different for everyone, when the outside world just gets quieter. They stop picking up the phone. They stop asking about the news. They may even sit in a room full of people and still feel somewhere else. But here's the thing. It's not always about being lonely or depressed. Sometimes it's a sign of deep inner reflection. As the end nears, many people start turning inward, not to shut others out, but to prepare. It's a kind of stillness, like the ocean before a storm, or the hush of snow before it falls. You might notice they don't want visitors as often, or they say less, not because they're angry, but because there's less to say. They're listening to something inside of them, and sometimes the most loving thing you can do is sit beside them in silence, not fixing, not filling space, just being there, so they know they're not alone in the stillness. Sign number 3, moments of clarity or surprising peace. Often called a final rally, this one can catch families off guard. After days of sleepiness, confusion, or withdrawal, there's suddenly a spark, a light in their eyes. They sit up straighter, crack a joke, Ask for their favorite meal. It feels like they're getting better. You might even start to hope again. But this moment, this unexpected wave of energy, is something doctors and hospice workers quietly know well. It's called a final rally. Not everyone experiences it, but when it happens, it's a gift. It's the body gathering one last burst of strength. It's the spirit preparing, not for recovery, but for release. Some use it to say goodbye. Others just want one last normal day. So if you ever see it, don't question it, cherish it, be fully present, because in that moment, they are too. Sign number 4, unexplained conversations with loved ones who've passed. At first, it might seem like confusion. They say, "I saw Dad in the room last night," or "Mom was waiting at the door." And for a moment, you're tempted to correct them, to remind them those people are long gone. But what if they already know that? In the final stages of life, it's not uncommon for people to speak with, or even see, loved ones who've passed before them. These aren't hallucinations in the way we often think. They're moments of connection, comfort, sometimes even joy. Many hospice workers will tell you, when someone begins having these experiences, they're often calm afterward, peaceful, like they've just been reminded they're not alone in whatever comes next. It's not our job to explain it. It's our job to witness it, to listen, to nod, and to honor the possibility that maybe they're beginning to see something we can't. Sign number 5, a sudden urge to express long-held feelings or apologize. This one can come out of nowhere. Someone who's been quiet for years suddenly says, "I'm sorry for how I treated you," or brings up something you haven't thought about since childhood. You might hear them say things like, "I've carried this too long," or "I just needed to say it." As the end nears, people often begin reaching for emotional closure. They want to clean the slate, not just for others, but for themselves. Regrets surface, forgiveness is sought, old wounds get reopened, but this time, to heal. And yes, it might be awkward, it might stir up pain, but if you can, let them speak. Let them be messy, honest, unfiltered, because what they're really asking for isn't your permission, it's your presence. And in those raw moments, you may find healing for yourself too. Sign number 6, loss of interest in food, routine, or the future. You start to notice the little things first. Their favorite meal sits untouched. They no longer ask what time dinner is. They stop following their daily rituals, morning coffee, crossword puzzles, even the weather forecast. And soon, they stop asking what day it is altogether. It's not forgetfulness, it's a quiet letting go. As the body prepares for the end, it begins to shut down gently. But it's more than physical. There's an emotional detachment too, from the future, from obligations, even from survival. It can be hard to witness. You want to cheer them on. Eat a little, just for strength. But they're not hungry, not for food, not for what's ahead. And that's okay. This withdrawal is not failure. It's a signal that something much deeper is happening. The turning inward before the final rest. What they need most now is peace. And your presence, not as a cheerleader, but as a gentle witness. Sign number 7, they speak in metaphors. Talking about going home or taking a trip. You hear things like, "I need to get ready. I'm waiting for someone to come. It's time for me to go home." And at first it sounds like confusion, but then you realize they're not talking about this home, not this trip, not this time. As the end approaches, many people begin to speak in metaphor. not because they're afraid, but because it's the only language that fits. Something in them knows they're on a journey, a crossing, a return. They may talk about packing bags, or waiting for a car, or going somewhere beautiful they haven't seen in years. It's not just imagination, it's a sacred transition. And these metaphors are how the soul prepares for it. Don't dismiss it. Don't correct them. Lean in. Ask them where they're going, who they're waiting for. You might be surprised by the peace in their answer. Final reflection. Letting the signs speak. Not all of these signs appear at once. Some people show only a few. Others show them all in quiet succession. But the thread that runs through them is the same. A movement inward, a soft release, a readiness that doesn't need to be spoken, only felt. If someone you love is showing these signs, don't panic. Don't rush to fix. Just be there. Hold their hand. Sit in the silence with them. Laugh if there's laughter. Cry if there are tears. But most of all, be present for the goodbye. Not as something to fear, but as something sacred. Because when it's time, they won't need you to save them. They'll just need to know they weren't alone at the end. If this video helps you, even a little, I hope you'll stay. Subscribe so you don't miss the kind of conversations that matter. And share this with someone you love. Someone who might need these words just as much as you do. We're building a place here for honesty, for wisdom, for compassion, and I'd be honored if you'd be part of it.